So you've probably already heard that Stewie Griffin is getting his very own spin-off show helmed by Seth MacFarlane. And in other news, Glenn Quagmire was found dead in a ditch somewhere.
Save it. Have fun on your spin-off, Joey.
The new series is set to feature Stewie at a brand new preschool that's falling apart. To escape the misery of his situation, Stewie will use his devices to take him and his classmates on surreal and crazy journeys across space and time. You might be wondering, why is Stewie the one getting the spin-off? But as we're about to discuss in this video, Stewie has the most potential out of any of the cast members when it comes to helming his own show. Yeah, I know we just did a Stewie video, but how could we not talk about this? So let's take a look at the Stewie-driven episodes that prove why he's the best pick for a Family Guy spin-off. To start off, let's look at some of Stewie's adventures in preschool, since it sounds like it'll be the most prominent setting in the series. Stewie actually goes through a similar plot in Take a Letter, where he joins a new preschool filled with a bunch of rich kids.
Look what they're serving at snack time.
Is that?
It's dog milk.
So after Lois is left less than impressed with Stewie's current preschool, she decides to enroll him in the expensive preschool, Corridors. Not to be confused with Corridor Crew, but honestly, his skill set would probably be much better received there.
Hi, I'm Chadley. I've been kidnapped 3 times because I come from money.
So Stewie immediately befriends a kid with the most Gen Z name imaginable. There are plenty of names out there, people. You don't gotta be quirky and different by jamming 2 names together like an identity car crash. And Chadley invites Stewie over for a playdate only to learn just how much nicer his house is.
Is that car bed a Bentley? And is that guy the driver?
Ready for this evening's trip to Snooze Town, sir?
This place is so much cooler than Stewie's. He also has someone sitting at the foot of his bed, but he's not really supposed to be there. They keep changing the locks, and yet he keeps getting in. Anyway, Chadley wants to do a playdate at Stewie's house next, but Stewie can't let him see the squalor he lives in.
What I've got to do is find a spectacular house that I can pretend is mine to impress Chadley.
I mean, why else was Airbnb invented? But Stewie doesn't have the funds for that, so he just decides to use a rich douche's place while he's away on vacation. This is why police departments say to never post that you're going out of town online. There are babies just lying in wait to steal your house if you aren't careful.
This is a great house for a party. You can invite the whole class.
I say, that's a brilliant idea.
So Stewie does just that, throwing a killer party for all his classmates that lasts a solid 5 minutes before the house's owner shows up.
And here come the people who live here. Please let me explain.
Might be a bit too late for that, because now you're not just poor, you're also a liar. They wouldn't have accepted you if you were just one or the other, but now they really don't want to accept you. At least it sounds like Stewie's new classmates will be in a similar financial bracket as him, so he'll have a lot more to connect over in the new show. And there's actually a lot you can do with the setting of a preschool, as the candidate brings heated political campaigns to the sandbox when Stewie and Doug compete against one another for the title of Snack Captain.
Today, Snack Captain, tomorrow, Mayor.
Yeah, I think that was the same career path Rudy Giuliani went through. One day you're passing out snacks and the next you're taking down the mob. So Stewie decides to run against Doug for Snack Captain, and the campaign trail immediately gets pretty heated.
He nailed you!
I'm voting for Doug.
I'm too young to deliver a joke.
The mind of the median voter is truly a sight to behold. Just remember that the next time you're voting, your vote carries the same weight as a preschooler's. So Stewie decides to get serious and enlists Chris as his campaign manager in order to reach his voter base.
You need to reach the Seesaw kids, the Slide kids, and spend time with the Jungle Gym kids so they know they have your support.
That's a fickle voter base, those Seesaw kids. You think they're up on one thing and the next minute they're down on it. That's right, snowflakes, it's called political humor. But nothing pushes your campaign further like a little mudslinging.
May I call your attention to my opponent's actions during the attack on the Capitol?
So that's where Stewie was on January 6th. Wonder if he ran into Jimmy Pesto while he was over there. But it turns out Doug's mud isn't just in his words, it's also in his pants.
Is Doug pooping his pants?
You think he's the first politician to poop himself on stage? This is just part of the job, baby. But Stewie needs more dirt on his opponent, so he decides to sneak into his house and finds out that Doug still uses a pacifier.
Are you willing to vote for a representative who literally sucks? I think not.
That's some pretty damning evidence. Unfortunately, Stewie brought a coughing baby to a hydrogen bomb fight for this debate.
Stewie Griffin was a whoops baby.
What the devil are you talking about?
As Bob Ross always said, we don't make mistakes, just happy accidents. And when you do the math, it does kind of make sense why there's like a 15-year age gap between the second and third Griffin child. But something must have resonated with those kids because Stewie actually ends up winning in the end.
It turns out 70% of the kids' parents aren't married and 30% are mistakes.
Finally, a man of the people that the school can relate to. It definitely helps to have a connection with your voter base. It also helps if your opponent is no longer alive.
Oh, and Doug died in a commuter plane crash this morning.
What a shame. Doug probably would have made a good rival for Stewie in the spinoff. And from how Stewie's new preschool is described in the teaser, it sounds a lot like Stewie's horrible experience in Miss Emily's daycare and Be Careful What You Fish For.
Jeez, you're a mess. What is that?
That was finger paint day.
What the hell? Why didn't they clean you up before you left?
Because finger paint day is a nightmare to deal with, especially for the kid named Finger. So Stewie describes the setup of this daycare, and it sounds like a nightmare of its own.
Is it normal that Miss Emily tied us all to the sink while she went out to return a birthday present?
Well, normally you would chain a child to a radiator, but I guess most houses don't have those anymore. So Brian decides to check this place out for himself, only to find the horrors that Stewie described are real.
Oh, what happened to that kid?
He fell off a stool trying to turn off Maury Povich.
Sounds like he died a hero then. They should bury him in the back, along with the class rabbit that was definitely malnourished. But when Brian decides to confront the teacher, Miss Emily, he just can't help but overlook her crimes against humanity.
Who are you?
Brian. Brian Steele.
He's definitely not named after the strength of his morals, otherwise his name would be Brian Wet Napkin. So since he's moderately attracted to this woman, Brian decides to keep the state of the daycare a secret from Lois so that he can keep seeing her.
Yes? May I help you? Hey, put him down! Who are you? I can't stop him!
I think Stewie's just jealous he didn't get picked. Don't worry, Stewie. Just leave the door open and your perfect match will come through it eventually. But it's gonna be hard to hide a dislocated shoulder from Lois.
She said I shouldn't raise my voice and pulled me really hard into the other room and my arm came out of its socket.
Nothing a little Neosporin can't fix. But Brian finally decides to grow a conscience when he realizes that Miss Emily has a boyfriend. He can excuse the child endangerment, but he draws the line on being somewhat misled about her relationship status.
What you did to these kids? There is a special place in hell for people like you.
Well, better late than never, I suppose. From what was gathered from the show's teaser, it sounds like Brian may be making a few appearances in the new show, but it also sounds like it'll mostly be up to Stewie to get himself out of these messes. But while we're getting the current iteration of Stewie in the spinoff, it would have been cool to see how the old Stewie, as seen in the courtship of Stewie's father, would handle the new preschool.
Oh, how unfortunate.
So in this episode, Lois stops by Stewie's daycare because the woman running it has some concerns about Stewie's behavior.
Notice anything unusual?
I sure do. His father's not in any of them.
Exactly.
Yep, that's the main issue here. Not the fact that Stewie's drawings are the same as every weird kid in a horror movie who sees a demon no one else sees. Well, this gives Lois a lot to think about. Hopefully she doesn't think too hard about what happened to his old teacher.
Thank you for letting me know.
Damn, she moved!
While it's still a little too early, we think it's a safe bet to say that Stewie won't be going around ruthlessly murdering his teachers. But we won't say it's an impossibility. Let a shark go without smelling blood for too long and you're sure to have a frenzy on your hands. But hopefully Stewie will enjoy his time away from Lois in the new show, because it doesn't really seem like Stewie enjoys her hanging around his turf, like in Yug Yillamaf.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
You.
I feel like most kids were pretty happy when their parents showed up at school, but I guess school is Stewie's own little home away from home. So while Lois may not be hanging around as much in the new show, I hope we're still gonna get ample amounts of Stewie swears.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Dumb.
But if Lois does end up showing up in the show, Stewie better learn to share her attention, otherwise they're gonna have the same problems from fighting Irish.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help out in the class.
What? I don't want you here. This is my turf.
So Lois agrees to volunteer in Stewie's class, and while he's not happy about it, he goes from annoyance to jealousy when he sees her giving another kid special treatment.
Did you spill juice on yourself, sweetheart?
Sweetheart? Slow your roll there, Cougar Town.
Stewie is portraying massive single child syndrome right now, which is weird considering he has 2 siblings. But Stewie is Lois's little guy, and anyone who tries to claim that title from him is a dead man.
Time to sabotage you with the most dangerous thing in the world for a toddler. A whole uncut grape.
You could have fed him poison and it probably would have had the same effect. Luckily, Lois steps in before the kid can choke to death, but her solution for taking care of the uncut grapes is unorthodox.
Oh, there's nothing to cut these with.
Yeah, I'm with Stewie. She's gotta go, preferably somewhere where she can't stick her fingers in other kids' mouths anymore. So Stewie decides to get back at Landon by putting a move on his mom when she has her volunteer day.
Let's just say your mom's about to see a diaper-rashy scrotum.
No metaphors or allegories there, I think that's literally what he has in store for her. But he'll settle for a little boo-boo kissing in the end.
Damn it, she's not watching. You keep going, though. Don't forget about the underneath part of my knee.
Only a real trooper would put their mouth on that part of the knee. Now Landon's gonna lie awake wondering why she's never done that to him. But Landon seems pretty content hanging out with Lois, and Stewie has had enough of it.
Are you jealous?
Yes! You've destroyed us! Were you at least safe?
It's always sweet to see how much Lois means to Stewie in a jealous boyfriend kind of way. But Preschool is meant to get Lois away from Stewie, so hopefully she doesn't interfere in his activities too much in the show.
Hey, you hear that, Landon? That's how you keep your in line.
And while we know that Stewie will be bringing along his inventions in the new show, we aren't super sure if he'll be bringing his weapons. If he does, we may see him deal with other kids the same way he tried to in The Hand That Rocks the Wheelchair.
Whoops.
Oh, hey, excuse me, fella.
They probably don't have metal detectors at preschools, right? Stewie could easily bring one of his many weapons in with him if he wanted to. Although maybe he should just stick to ones that don't come in 100 little pieces. Do you understand how mad you'd have to make someone to shoot you point blank with a long-range weapon?
All right, I think we're all set here.
And while the new show will probably allow us to see the world through Stewie's eyes, it's never been done as literally as it was in the final section of Family Guy viewer mail number 2.
Hey, Stewie, wanna go down the slide? What's the matter? You never been down the slide before?
Look, everyone experiences life at their own pace. No need to give in to peer pressure. Unless, of course, you're gonna look lame, then you have to do it. It's easy to talk a big game on the ground, but it's a whole different perspective from the top.
Whoa.
Come on down, Stewie!
This exaggerated view of the world is exactly what that new series needs, and hopefully we'll get more glimpses behind the eyes of Stewie and his friends when it finally comes out. And even if the spin-off were only set in the preschool, there's still a lot you can do with that by taking advantage of the inventiveness of a child's imagination, kind of like what we see with the jungle gym climb in 80s Guy.
One can't just show up and hope to execute, say, a perfect somersault.
So Stewie's constantly feeling inadequate next to his rival Doug, whether it be at tumbling or show and tell. Some people just have the talent to show you something and tell you about it. Some people go to school for 8 years to master it, and some people are just born with it.
Hey, who's this in the picture with Moana? Oh, me? Huh.
No way.
And Moana doesn't just take pictures with anyone. I don't even think she knows what pictures are. If it's not coconut related, she probably hasn't heard of it. But Stewie sees his moment to shine on the playground when a frisbee accidentally floats to the very top of the jungle gym.
I'll climb up there and get that frisbee. Doug may be afraid, but I'm not.
A bit of a rookie mistake to do a climb like that without any proper training. People do the same thing with Mount Everest too. I bet that jungle gym has all sorts of corpses stuck up there as well.
You're just climbing a jungle gym. It's not a big deal.
Not a big deal. I pull this off, I go down in history.
That's true for a while. Until like a kid eats something really gross on a dare. There's only room for one legend in the minds of toddlers. Nevertheless, Stewie gets ready to become a playground legend, but it looks like he'll have to share some of the glory.
What do you say, Stewie? A friendly race to the top in front of all these kids?
Sounds like a plan. And if Stewie were to, say, push Doug off the side to his death, he could always chalk it up to slipping. He might be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. And Doug. Can't forget about killing Doug.
You realize, Doug, we might die up there today.
Then I'll see you in heck.
So the two start their free climb up the side, overcoming crags, crevices, and an unhealthy amount of snot. Both make it to the top around the same time, but Stewie is the first to put his hands on the frisbee.
Yes! I win!
It brings a tear to my eye to see the willpower of man overcome hardship. But when Stewie gets his foot stuck, he's forced to overcome not being left to die up there.
Oh no! Help! Help! Help me!
Yeah, I don't think this is one of those kinds of places that has park rangers to help. Luckily, Doug isn't willing to leave him for dead just yet.
Stewie, come on. Right now, your safety is what matters, and you've got an owie in need of attention.
There's just something about being 10 feet off the ground that makes you forget all your problems and hang-ups from the ground floor and just makes you want to be a good person. But with a thunderstorm starting to roll in, it looks like they're going to have to stay the night on top of the structure.
Too dangerous to risk going for help now. I think we're going to have to wait it out, Stewie.
And while they're shacked up together, Doug and Stewie find the time to squash their beef. Maybe this is how we teach kids to resolve their differences, put them in a life-threatening situation where they don't want to die with hate in their hearts.
But now, tonight, you've given me something much more valuable. Your friendship.
And as a peace offering, Stewie gives Doug the frisbee so he can hold the glory of reaching the top first. I guess he doesn't need Stewie alive anymore.
I won! Other kids, Stewie lost, and he deserves our ridicule.
And the only thing that drives you to do superhuman feats more than your love for your fellow man is your hate for your fellow man. And Stewie uses that drive to catch up to Doug, but because he's not a scumbag like him, he saves him from nearly falling to his death.
Please hang on, Stewie.
I've got this, my friend. This is when that slick cucumber deep inside of me comes out.
Thanks for the TMI, man. Maybe keep the cucumber away until afterwards and we'll go from there. But Stewie's grip just isn't strong enough to hold forever, and both end up crashing to the ground.
Oh, we weren't very high up there.
But the episode sure made it seem like they were, and that's something the new series could definitely utilize to make the real world feel bigger and grander through the eyes of a baby. A baby who knows what the inside of a person's head looks like but doesn't know how to flush a toilet. And the real world can be made to look ever scarier through a toddler's eyes, like when Stewie went to detention in The Birthday Bootlegger, which turned out to be pretty similar to a cell block.
Doug, are you okay? Oh my god, what happened? Who did this to you?
Stewie!
Narc. So after a prank on Doug goes wrong, Stewie receives his third behavioral strike, which means he's landed himself in detention.
You get a detention.
Detention? You can't scare me.
Don't think so? They're about to do to you what they do to those kids on Scared Straight. That'll teach Stewie not to get sick revenge on Doug. But Stewie quickly learns that detention takes place in a whole new world.
It's in the elementary school building.
The elementary school?
That's right. Elementary school is where your personality starts to form and determines whether or not you're a delinquent for the rest of your life. I think Michael Jordan had something to say about them, but I just can't remember what the quote is.
Detention kids are scary, especially that 4th grader writing on the board.
See, that's what Stewie could end up as if he isn't careful, an iconic child character with no spin-off. Your whole life will just be 100 seasons of telling people on the verge of having a cow to not have one.
Hey, do you know where I can get a pacifier in this place? I'm Johnston.
Anyone hears you say that in here, you'll get your ass kicked.
And just a few hours in there has Stewie coming out as a new man, a changed man. A man thankful for the uppies and the snuggles, knowing full well how easily they can all go away.
The world's gone and got itself in a big damn hurry. You lose track of time on the inside, Brian.
Don't tell me we're gonna find Stewie was here etched into the rafters at some point. Thankfully, I don't think he can reach that high. Unfortunately, he also brings home the worst aspects of being in the hole.
You don't have a name until I give you one. You're a little young and plump to be in a place like this.
Buddy, Chris has been here since you were crapping your diapers. So, like, since 10 minutes ago, but even longer than that. But Stewie is more than capable of establishing himself as the big dog in the yard.
You're gonna give me what I want.
What are you talking about?
You know.
It's actually worse than you can possibly imagine, being forced to watch a nonsensical kids show. There's no lore, no overarching plot, no sagas that people can argue about which is the best online. Just dancing, noise, and flashing colors.
It's too complicated and noisy.
Yeah, it is both of those things, and their cat speaks French.
But eventually, all the stress and pressure of that single hour of detention comes crashing down on Stewie's mental state.
You ever seen your own nose wiggling between 2 fingers right in front of your face? And he never gave it back!
Not even the likes of David Cronenberg could think up the horrors that Stewie has seen. Luckily, all it takes is a nice warm bath to bring him back to normalcy. You really don't realize how incredible those things are until they're taken away from you. And now Stewie can live his life to the fullest with a mind full of tales to tell his grandkids one day.
That's how your granddad got his back tattoo and hepatitis. Never share a needle with Ben Affleck.
And one has to wonder if Stewie and friends will dip their toes into more older kids' school scenes. If they do, Stewie might just have to revive Zach Sawyer, his cool high school alter ego from McStroke.
God, these high school students are lame. I'm a freaking baby and I'm cooler than they are.
So in order to test that hypothesis, Stewie decides to go undercover at the high school under an alias. Like father, like son. And it turns out if you know just the right words to say, you can easily ascend to school stardom.
My name is Zach Sawyer. I just transferred here from rich, expensive, car-driving having high school.
And that's not an easy school to get into either. I hear you have to not care on levels never before seen to get in. And Zach's level of not caring is just the right amount to get him in good with the popular kids.
I wear long-sleeve shirts under short-sleeve shirts under long-sleeve shirts.
Wow, oh my God. You're awesome.
These dummies fall for cool kid propaganda way too easily. And in order to solidify his status at the school, Stewie decides to make him and Connie an official item.
You want to go out to Eagle Point this weekend? See what all the buzz is about?
OMG.
I wonder why they call it that. The roads to get there must be really tight and narrow. But Stewie has no clue what goes on there, so Brian has to explain it to him with a family-friendly metaphor.
Well, in that scenario, it sounds like I'd rather be the parking space than the car.
Yeah, that's what I've always guessed.
You and me both, Brian. Hopefully Connie's open for a little experimentation. Unfortunately for Stewie, he isn't really bringing anything to the table that Connie wants to experiment with.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I am ready for I drank 8 gallons of water today. This baby's ready to explode.
Complete misunderstanding of anatomy aside, that's a bold move to just whip it out without any foreplay. You might as well take a dip in some cold water beforehand too. And it's clear Connie is definitely not down.
Zach, just get the hell out of my car.
Yeah, kinda hard to bounce back from that one. You could drop that size matters not Yoda quote, but you'd probably just get made fun of even more.
Well, for your information, I don't want a big I think they're messy.
Well, thank you for your honesty and probably locking in your yearbook quote. So now that Connie has tanked Zach's reputation, it's only fitting that he does the same to her.
Look! This girl is making out with a baby! A nude baby!
Another creep put behind bars, all thanks to Stewie and his honeypotting tactics. We do hope we'll get to see some Zach Sawyer in the spinoff. Maybe he should just keep his pistol holstered this go-round. And if a lot going on upstairs is anything to go by, Stewie has a lot of fears pertaining to preschool that might be exploitable for the new series.
Yes, today I brought in my mother's driver's license. Now, if you look closely, she's clearly drunk.
So nothing seems out of the ordinary here, except for the fact that Lois's license contains Restriction A, which means she's supposed to wear glasses while driving. And we thought driving drunk was her biggest infraction. But this show and tell day quickly takes a turn when Stewie succumbs to a textbook nightmare.
Oh my god, don't look! Don't look! Cell phones down! Cell phones down!
But you were just so confident in your nudity in the last episode. Luckily, this is all just a nightmare, and hopefully it scared Stewie enough to the point we won't have to worry about seeing him in his birthday suit too much in his own show. But hopefully Stewie's learned his lesson and won't be participating in any more school plays, otherwise we might get another incident like in Peter Asment.
I am so excited for Stewie's first play.
Don't you think it's a little soon for a musical about Terry Schiavo?
Yeah, it may be in poor taste, but when Stephen Sondheim comes a-knockin', you open that door. And Stewie's in perhaps the most important role of all, the plug. But before he goes out, he gets a little advice on the role from one of his elders, a kindergartner.
Don't you try to be a Jared plug, all right? You just go out there, you be the best Stewie plug you can.
That's gonna have a very different context in a few years, and judging by how that kid talks, he may have entered the next stage of being a plug. So when it comes time for Stewie's big moment, he shows everyone why he was made to be the star of the show.
Look at Stewie. What a baby.
Not everybody's made for the spotlight, but hopefully Stewie's gotten over it all these years because all the cameras are going to be on him come 2027. And maybe Stewie will even be able to find love at this new preschool, but we can only hope he doesn't fall for another gold digger like in Damn It, Janet.
What the devil are you doing here?
William sent me. He wanted me to tell you I killed him.
Yeah, the opening to this episode has nothing to do with what I was just talking about. But I wanted to make a point of it because these little fantasy sequences alongside real-world actions are great and maybe should be something that gets carried over into the new series. That head of Stewie's is too big to just let his imagination go to waste.
Oh! Jeffrey! Take the 9 p.m. to Hounslow out of your mouth.
But anyway, the real story starts when Stewie gets left at daycare for the first time, something he takes as a personal slight.
Why, you soulless witch! This is a biogenetic experimentation facility, isn't it?
Well, it's certainly dripping in genetic material, mostly in the form of snot and saliva, but things seem to brighten up for him when he catches the attention of a cute girl in the class, Janet.
Oh dear, it seems you're still it.
Make a woman laugh and you'll fill her heart with happiness. Make her laugh too much and she'll go into heart failure from all the excess happiness. Gotta do these things in little measures. So Stewie decides to put the moves on her and woo her with his charms.
Duck. Goose! Oh, come on now, I barely touched you.
Skipping right past the honeymoon phase and going straight for the domestic violence phase. A bold decision, let's see if it pays off.
Hi, Stewie.
Well, it seems like there are no hard feelings on her end. So the two actually start to build up a little friendship, even though from the beginning it seems a little transactional.
Cookie.
Oh, you want my cookie? Oh yes, by all means. Here you are.
Now, Stewie, you worked hard to get that cookie. Don't throw your life savings at a girl just because she's giving you a look. But they start engaging in a playground fling, doing coupley things like swinging together. Not that kind of swinging, you weirdos.
Stewie.
Hello, Janet. How about a push?
That's right, smile through the pain, you simp. But it seems like Stewie is genuinely happy enough to serenade Janet with a little Frank Sinatra. But then again, Seth MacFarlane still probably would have sung it without a reason.
I say, Janet, do you like this couch?
You truly are beautiful, you know that?
But beautiful things aren't always the kindest. You ever meet a peacock? Huge a-holes, I tell ya. And it seems Janet is the same way, as Stewie isn't the only one she's getting some cookies from.
Who the hell is this? Look, Janet, is there something you need to tell me? Because if I'm the only one in this thing, well, I think I deserve to know.
And just when things were getting serious, Stewie was all ready to pretend settle down with her in a pretend house with a pretend child they'll one day send to pretend college just for them to return home and get a pretend job at the pretend factory. But two can play this game, so Stewie finds himself a girl he can parade in front of Janet for revenge.
She's 2 weeks younger than you. Just look at that butt. That is a tight butt.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe Stewie deserves to be alone. Yet the allure of Janet is too much for him to bear, and he becomes adamant that they can make this thing work.
You've made me the happiest man in the whole world.
Cookie?
Oh yes, of course you can have a cookie.
And there it is. That's the only thing she ever really wanted from Stewie. It's a hard pill to swallow, but one that Stewie will be all the better for later in life. If Stewie's heartstrings start to get pulled in this new series, hopefully it'll go a little better than what happened here.
Don't let us see you cry, old man. Don't let us see you cry.
And hopefully we get more outlandish childhood misadventures like the one we saw in Sibling Rivalry, where Stewie and Bertram turn the playground into an all-out war zone.
No! Jungle Gym mine!
Hey, where'd you get the Pete Rose haircut?
So Stewie learns very quickly that he has the intelligence and mindset needed to make the playground his own personal kingdom. And like most invading warlords, he seems to take an interest in the local women.
Hi! Well, hello there. Yes, that's right, cry.
This episode wants us to believe the tyrant is the hero and the boy trying to defend his homeland is the bad guy. Thanks, Hollywood. But unfortunately for Stewie, the only baby who could dare challenge him is about to pop out into the world.
Victory shall be mine!
Yep, Bertram's back, having escaped from Peter's coin purse through a little donation. And the first thing he wants to do out of the womb is to stage a takeover of Stewie's turf.
This is my playground. I rule this territory.
My, what an amusingly misguided view.
Can't they just rule the land as brothers and eventually one of them poisons the other in order to take full control? It's worked out pretty well for everyone else in history. But Stewie won't stand for this invasion and plans to handle it as seriously as a heart attack.
Attention all hands! We're going to launch a massive airstrike against Bertram and his army. Behold the Armada!
Those stealth bombers must be no joke if he can just hide all those in the playground. I think Stewie should be caring less about controlling the playground and be more concerned with getting a job at Lockheed Martin. But Bertram's ready to meet him with ample firepower.
What took you so long?
What took you so ugly?
Wars have been started over way softer comments. But when heavy-duty machines of war end their first battle in a stalemate, it becomes clear that they'll need to find other ways to defeat one another.
Yay, Stewie!
Oh, thank you, darling. What is this, makeup? Why are you wearing makeup?
That's because Bertram crossed the line and went with chemical warfare. That's like one stage undergoing nuclear. Now that Stewie's been infected with chickenpox, it pretty much leaves his kingdom ripe for the taking.
Oh, sweetie, you got the chicken pox. Come on, we gotta get you out of here.
No, damn you! I've got to finish what I started!
But this isn't enough to keep Stewie down. But it is enough to make him miss school. Let's not rush back into that, shall we? So Stewie sneaks back to the playground and initiates a duel with Bertram.
You have an annoying habit of turning up where you're not welcome.
Yeah, that's kind of a baby's whole thing. No matter how well you hide your alcohol or dangerous chemicals, a baby is still gonna find it and put its mouth all over it. So the two have a little sword fight with Stewie coming out on top.
Any last words?
You wouldn't kill me, would you?
Nah, I gotta keep you alive just in case the show needs to shoot you in the head with an arrow later. Maybe it's not the most realistic, but seeing real-world tools of war used during skirmishes on the playground is great, and we hope we get to see a little more of that with Stewie's new show. But hopefully being the star of the show doesn't make Stewie lose his mean streak, because the psychotic Stewie is still a lot of fun, like when he nearly kills Chris over his relationship with Rupert in The Talented Mr. Stewie.
You know, you look good. I don't tell you that enough. I want to show you how much I appreciate you.
So Stewie wants to do something nice for Rupert and decides to make him a scrapbook. But when he goes digging for photos, he makes a shocking realization.
Is that Rupert?
Oh yeah, I guess it is.
What's he doing with Chris?
Well, Rupert belonged to Chris before he was yours.
Uh-oh, somebody's the sloppy seconds. I can understand Stewie's shock, because usually this doesn't happen between brothers. Stewie tries to be cool about it, but it becomes clear it's really bugging him.
You know, I still have that headache. But if you want to go over to Chris's room... I'm sorry.
I guess it's not too surprising to expect this kind of maturity from a 1-year-old. You don't really get a good grasp on love, life, and relationships until you're around 5 anyway. But when Stewie's jealousy becomes too much to bear, get it? He decides it's time to reunite the old flames.
I know you're going to try and stop me, but here
Okay.
Oh, great. Then I'll just leave him here.
Yeah, maybe seeing your ex trot around the house with your brother will help your jealousy. That is a sentence you shouldn't ever have to even think of.
Looks like someone was up late.
Yeah, I tend to sleep a little longer when I'm resting under a big furry bear.
And to make matters worse, Stewie had a nanny cam installed in Rupert, so not only does he get to fantasize about Rupert and Chris, he gets to see it too. I guess Stewie wasn't getting the right amount of suffering.
Oops. Sorry, Skippy.
He's even calling Rupert by his old name? Yeah, it might be over for Stewie. Time to find a new hot piece of stuffing. And he tries to do just that in order to make Rupert jealous.
Oh, I see you got my text to bring Rupert to dinner. You're looking well. And this is Anton.
Yep, definitely not coming off as desperate at all. I think if you need to pay someone to be your stand-in boyfriend, especially someone who isn't even alive, there's no way you're coming out on the other side of this clean, right?
Is a male very cheap.
It sounds like Stewie needs to get out of the country, distance himself from all the drama, and find himself while living among many different cultures. So after a trip to Bali, Italy, and India, Stewie finally finds the self-reflection he's been looking for.
I have to kill Chris and Rupert right away.
That's usually how I feel coming back from a vacation too. Why shouldn't I be living this life every day? It's someone's fault, and they deserve to pay for it. So Stewie decides to lure Chris and Rupert to a lakeside cabin under the guise of a friendly dinner.
I don't know why I said I was making dinner. I'm committing a murder. I should have realized I wouldn't also want to cook.
You could at least give Chris and Rupert the dignity of one final home-cooked meal before they die. Imagine dying with $15 takeout in your stomach. That's not the way I want to go.
Look, I'm afraid I can't let you go, Chris.
So with Chris incapacitated and Rupert, Stewie goes to dump the bodies in a nearby lake. Classic body dumping spot. Glad Stewie did his homework. But after he dumps Chris, he decides to take a look at the final recording Rupert has of his brother.
We sit through a nice dinner and then you go back with Stewie. Because I love my little brother and so do you.
Probably would have been a good thing to check this before braining Chris of the frying pan. Well, crimes of passion and all that. Luckily, Stewie manages to save Chris before he becomes acquainted with the floor of the lake.
Do you remember what happened?
No.
That's the right answer.
But we'll always remember, and we hope the Stewie series remembers too. Stewie is a lot of things, and that includes an emotional maniac ready to kill, and we hope his new friends get to learn that about him. And maybe we'll even get a little more introspection into who Stewie is in the new series, something we've seen a bit of in episodes like Send In Stewie Please, which set out to psychoanalyze the child.
Send in Stewie, please.
Hey, he said it! So Stewie is set up to have a one-on-one chat with child psychologist Dr. Cecil Pritchfield. Should be a walk in the park, because if there's one thing Stewie loves doing, it's yapping.
You seem to have a lot of strong opinions.
I do. Mostly because I come across a lot of
If that's the case, you might want to get him talking to a police officer after this is said and done. Don't know if he was being literal or metaphorical, but someone should probably look into that. But the two eventually find a common ground. After all, they are two men with distinct British accents.
I apologize, but I can't hear it.
You mean to tell me you don't hear me speaking with a British accent right now?
A real one knows a poser when he sees one. You might be in a place called New England, but that doesn't mean you're supposed to have an English accent. Real just born yesterday kind of stuff. So this guy thinks he's got Stewie all figured out, but Stewie can do some psychoanalyzing of his own.
How accomplished and affluent you both look in this photo. Just the image Michael is so desperate to project.
I think Stewie's just jealous because Pritchfield and his husband seem to have the exact kind of relationship Stewie's always wanted. He's very clearly projecting, and the good doctor is here to clock him.
You seem like a very lonely little boy.
Oh my god, I am!
Wow, couldn't even back up that 5-minute rant he just went on. But maybe Stewie doesn't want to anymore. After all, he is dealing with his own personal issues.
Nobody here likes me, Dr. Pritchfield. I try to fit in with the other boys and talk about things like dirt and shapes.
Which is tough, because a real shape enjoyer can clock a fake shape enjoyer from miles away. Oh, your favorite shape is a dodecahedron? How about you dodeck your performative self on out of here? And it's these inabilities to connect with his fellow classmates that have caused Stewie to start lashing out at others.
You pushed a classmate down the stairs.
It was an accident.
The kid just happened to be in the way of Stewie's hands, which were moving forward very quickly. Can you blame a boy for trying to do a little top-of-the-stairs calisthenics? But like most kids, Stewie just wanted the boy to like him.
This whole thing isn't because I'm gay, so calm down. I can already see you licking your chops.
Well, of course. Stewie is too fabulous to commit to any one basic label. Why be one thing when you can be anything? An astronaut, a football star, or gender fluid. The possibilities are endless.
Fluid is something I hear being tossed around a lot now, but I'm confident in my heterosexuality.
Whatever you say, man. I'll believe it when I see you throw all the wigs out of your closet. But it's clear Stewie's been living a lie, especially with that British accent.
This isn't even how I really talk. This is how I talk.
Okay, well, I kinda see why you've been putting on a facade. If a baby tried taking over the world sounding like that, they'd get no respect. They already get no respect because they're a baby, so this would just make it even worse.
I feel relieved. Like a weight has been lifted. I can finally be myself.
What a breakthrough. Now that he's found comfort in who he really is, he can better assimilate into being just like everyone else.
But I don't want to be like everybody else.
There's the little nonconformist we all know and love. Just gotta rage against the machine. Most people just wear all black and put on eyeshadow. Stewie just happens to pretend to be British. So it sounds like they're back to square one, and it unfortunately seems like they won't be getting any further.
Now, let's talk about...
Dang, don't you just hate it when you start dying because you didn't take your stop dying pills soon enough? Really gotta get a calendar app to help with those. Stewie could help him here, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen.
Is this because I made you wait?
It's because I can't have anyone know the real me. And so you must die.
Well, I guess that means we might not see Stewie drop the veil all too much in the new series. It sounds like the spinoff realized Stewie could be the most popular kid in school if he just showed off his fancy toys. Probably didn't need a half-hour shrink session to figure that out.
So, this is how you leave me.
Sorry.
So are you excited for the Stewie series, or do you think a different side character should have gotten the spin-off? It's time for all you Seamus fans to speak up. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more great Family Guy videos, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out.